Good evening, people. For those of you who love It's Sybil, it is Sybil, and she will be here shortly. But right now, you got the guys. It's myself, Damon Williams, and the intelligent and incomparable Cameron Riley. How you doing today, Cam?
Doing very well, Damon. Can we get like a fist
Oh
bump?
yeah, here
On
we
oh,
go.
there you go.
Uh,
Wait, there, there,
Bam,
yeah, there it is.
bam.
Feeling
Yeah,
well,
man.
man.
Yeah, how was your week?
Oh, my week was really good. It's been busy as all heck, but I am just relishing in the fact that like this is the life that I wanted to create for myself, and so
And
I
that's
am
that's
enjoying it.
always yeah, that's always good, man. When you can follow and pursue your passions and your the things that you really are passionate about, and you can still make a living, keep the lights on, even though it looks like yours are off right now.
Well,
Uh, I
I
might be
have,
speaking too soon.
I have
Look
my
like you
light.
look like you're about to have a nice little candlelight dinner. Um,
I'm
but
just
it's
treating
good.
myself to a little something. Yep.
Of course, and it's always good to join you here on Tuesdays, man. Good to talk to you like this. For those who just checking in, Sybil will be joining us shortly. She had been traveling, so her equipment and technical issues will be resolved soon. I will say this: last night, your buddy, my son Damon Williams, had a conversation and performance with Hooligan Magazine
Oh,
down at the Chicago Athletic Center. So he performed some of his new music and talked about his movement building and mentorship and things of that nature. So I was glad to hang out with my son last night. Other than that, had my shows in Fort Wayne, Indiana, uh, this past Sunday. And shouts out to everybody who came out to that because, man, we had a ball. And I'm starting to post clips, more clips to stand up on all my socials across those platforms. So people go to YouTube and subscribe if you happen to see a clip. That being said, you're a contributor and one of the main voices and the mainstays of the Civil newsletter, which you can get free, people, every day. You just subscribe and we'll put it in your inbox and it'll be right there. It's a gift from the city. And look at there. There's Ma.
oh,
the,
welcome
the
back,
Cubs
Sybil.
the Cubs were trying to hold it down. Mama Bear popped up.
And you are doing a fine job from what I heard. I'm, always once a week at least, I'm in computer hell, and this was a day for travel as well as computer hell. So thanks, guys. It's good to see you all. Hello from Dallas Fort Worth, a stormy Dallas Fort Worth, from what I understand. That was the experience a lot of folks had today, and just flew in from New York City, and boy, are my arms tired.
Hey, to them team.
Tina, good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, feeling
Good,
pretty good.
good, 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 good. Cameron, I'm looking forward to the interview you have. And so we are looking forward to that with a colleague of yours. And so we will do that in the What's Really Going On segment. But first, as Damon was talking about the What You Need to Know newsletter, let's go right to your article in the What You Need to Know newsletter, Cameron, and talk about your particular subject for this day in the What You Need to Know newsletter.
Yeah, everybody is always like afraid of that vengeful coworker that when it's their last day at work, they're gonna do something totally obscene and just like ruin the office space.
I
Well,
never had that experience.
That's
well,
because you work radio and they don't tell you when you're getting
Well,
fired.
that's true. That's true. That's true. That is so true.
well. Former Arizona governor, Republican Governor Doug Ducey, uh, as he prepares to leave office, decided to build a wall of his own along the Arizona-Mexico border.
Hmm.
This one is out of shipping containers, topped with barbed wire that will prevent, as the governor believes, that will prevent migrants from crossing the border, and that will protect the sanctity of Arizona. Uh, this has been just decried by el- elected officials across the aisle. Um, Even environmentalists who are saying that putting the shipping containers here suffocates rare plants and animals, and destroys the environment. The governor elect, Democrat Katie Hobbs, is has been very vague in how she's going to respond to removing or rectifying this barrier, saying that she's, quote, looking at all of the options. But Governor Doug Ducey sued federal officials who rejected his deployment of this wall, saying that Arizona has full control over the border and that he can do what it is that he wants. The reality, though, Sybil, is that there have been more migrants crossing the border.
Yeah, I mean, in Texas alone, this past weekend at El Paso, they had over 2,400 migrants crossing each day.
Each day?
Yeah, each day.
Wow.
Over the weekend. So Friday,
and
Saturday,
clearly they're
Sunday.
not getting the memo that America's not the promised land it used to be. They ain't gonna be able to afford groceries when they get here. That's and if they were smart, you know, and if we were this country's so misguided. If it were a humanitarian situation, they could actually turn those containers into dwellings. And you leave them on that border long enough, they might become that. So
yeah. Exactly right. They'll just open that and clean it out and find them a place to live right there on the border. But Khameron, I have a different take on this, and I'm wondering if you agree with this, you and Damon.
Yeah.
When you have Republican governors, especially governors making grand gestures like this at the end of their term, and they see that how poorly Donald Trump is doing in the numbers, in the polling numbers, is he perhaps looking for his place in the Republican primary as a contender against those like the DeSantis of Florida, and you could put in Larry Hogan of Maryland, and so on and so forth. He says, I came up with a plan, and this is what these other guys never were able to do. And perhaps that might be his in towards getting into the primary and making some noise.
I gotta agree with you, because politics is about gestures, as especially of this particular sort. I mean, Governor Doug got the wall built quicker than Donald Trump ever could.
Right.
And he took a defiant stance against immigration, and chose to prioritize his citizens, of course, of the cream-colored variety, over anybody else. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely going for some political clout here. Presidency, not too sure, but yeah, I mean, he definitely has probably just risen in favor among the GOP and their fan base.
And he's taking some of the focus off of other Arizona Republicans like Katie, Carrie Lake, rather, who is the Republican who lost for the governor's spot against Katie Hall. And so this is, showing, well, she's a Trumper, and I'm showing you what I can do. I stand alone, and because she's getting a lot of shine, and even talking about not necessarily running for president, but as a running mate for Donald Trump, because they're kind of the same tribe. But I think that they're all trying to find their own lane, and this may be his.
Hey, I have a question, Sybil, to backtrack to what you said. You said there were 2,400 migrants a day crossing the Texas border.
A day coming from Mexico into El Paso, Texas.
Well, why aren't they stopping when they were counting them?
You know what they're doing? They're trying to get in, David.
Somebody had tried to count them.
672, 670. No, you go back. You come in. No, you go back. Okay, we got your number. You go. It's like a traffic cop. That's crazy. And how they come up with that number. But on the serious tip, they are trying to get in before the coronavirus edict ends, because and so but it's crazy how what the answers are that people have, and what are they doing? What are they doing? They talk about making the situation better in Mexico so that they don't want to come to this country. And like you said, Damon, inflation is crazy, crime is crazy, all of these things in this. I'm surprised they don't meet all the people moving to Mexico from the States.
Right, because
each other.
We should be with our money versus theirs versus the peso plus housing costs. You come over here, this is not a cakewalk to be in the US right now. You got to grind. And I know that Mexicans are hardworking people once they get here and they'll do the undocumented jobs, but somebody might want to start passing out some pamphlets with these apartment prices in Mexico.
And we used to see stories about family members coming over and having 3 or 4 families in one dwelling.
Right.
I don't know that they do that anymore. I know we still hear from dreamers saying that they live with several family members as they are trying to get their residency. But it's more than a notion. I don't know. I don't know why this has become such a pain in the butt for Democrats like President Obama, and now President Biden, and then of course Donald Trump made this a big deal and did absolutely nothing. Just like all the other things, talking about Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan, and he did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He did nothing. What do you have to show for this? Well, he has some fat cat friends who didn't pay as much in taxes as they should have, and now he is showing what that means and what that looks like, not paying your taxes. So, and keeping this country moving.
Yeah, it's a humanitarian crisis, and this isn't a quick fix of just putting an impenetrable barrier along the United States border. We have a duty to our South American kin. The history books will not tell you that the United States just built itself off the backs of the banana fields, the cocoa fields, the sugarcane fields of the Central American workers. We destabilized their country, put in corrupt dictators.
Right.
And so now they want to come here. But you're right, Sybil and Damon. America is not what it used to be anymore. It's real out here. Okay. We out here struggling. So what the border crisis is indeed a crisis. And I feel like whoever the next president is, that's going to be the charge of their entire candidacy. Is to fixing this issue at the border.
Yeah, coming to America now is like finally getting your high school sweetheart when she's 67. Boy, it ain't what it used to be. I'm just might want to stay back over in Mexico and work it out, because we've all been to Mexico and saw some wonderful areas. I don't understand the economy or how it goes, and I know the population is ridiculous, but they need to try to figure it out there. And I'm not anti-immigration, of course, but it's not easy. It's a lot of people that are already over here, like you said, that would probably do better in Mexico.
I wish that there was a magic number or an equation that people could just go and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and you're going to stay here, and you're going to come here to go to school, and that kind of thing, and kind of ease the situation, because as you say, this is going to be the real linchpin in someone's presidency.
There is one thing that is consistent, though, and I'm more so speaking to people in my age demographic, that if you are a budding working professional, if you are going into the business sector, the public sector, the policy sector, you will have to know Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to. It will.
In the labor sector as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. My brother's a trucker, and he's like, all the locations where they drop and load are mostly, immigrants or Spanish speaking workers. And some now for supervisors in those type of places, you have to be bilingual because you have to be able to communicate with the workers. And that's
Right.
what a lot of people are like, especially in the South. They really were complaining about that in some of the southern states.
Mm.
And you know, just coming from New York City and going to an Italian restaurant, and all of the cooks on the grills, they were Hispanic.
Yeah.
Go to Panda Express here in Dallas Fort Worth. All of the workers are Hispanic. You know,
Yeah, we had a Mexican hibachi chef. I didn't get
Wait,
it.
really? I thought that was like a sacred art form. No.
Like, slow down, Jose. I am not making this up, dude. It was a Mexican hibachi chef. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, and God love them. They're hard, as you say, Damon, you know, they're hardworking, and they will take the jobs and take many of the jobs. One person will be known to have a number of jobs, but it's just, it's really something.
Well, I think there's hope for us naturalized or citizens that are born here as well for those some of those jobs, because 2 generations down the line they won't be as hard working because they'll be raised here in America and they'll be soft. So the kids of these migrants will be a different type of person, and you might be able to get those jobs that you say nobody wants back again, because you already know if a poor man raises a son and that son raises a son, then that third son is probably going to be softer than the old guy.
That's a sad reality, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that really is very sad. One of the other things that talking about in the newsletter, and just in terms of what we have to offer, the January 6th committee. This is the committee investigating the attack on the U.S. Capitol, January 6, 2021. The bipartisan committee has announced that they not only are they going to be producing a book. It's 1,000 pages long, estimated to be, with a lot of the interviews, a lot of the taped testimonies and what have you. But also they're going to be taking new testimony, and they're going to have maybe a new hearing on the 19th of December. So there's still work to do, according to the co-chairman, Congressman Benny Thompson of Mississippi. And of course, as of December 31st, January 1st, that committee will be dead because the Republicans will not allow it to exist beyond this term. The Republicans are planning their own investigations against the Bidens, Joe and his son Hunter. And so they don't want to hear any more about Donald Trump and what happened January 6th. But this information is really kind of pouring out now regarding a lot of the texts that the former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, has received. Hundreds and hundreds of texts with people all over the place. I have a name for her, but I'll just call her Congresswoman Marjorie Greene. Making just these wild claims that
just call her Cuckoo Karen.
Okay. And she makes all these wild claims that, if she and Steve Bannon had been running things on January 6th, it would have been a lot different, and they would have been armed.
Well, all of that testimony and all of the documentation and stuff is probably going to be compiled. I would hope it's all compiled for your listening pleasure, and you can order it right after Martin when it goes off late at night. 5 easy payments. You can get you some Miracle Spring Water and the January 6th collection, all from Time Life.
That's right. That's right.
5 easy payments.
Amazon's beating you to it. You can go to Amazon and you can see the audio as well as the book that's going to be published.
How about that?
All of this information. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Wow. I was kidding.
No,
and it's really out there.
No, it's there. If you go to Amazon,
but wait, there's more.
Exactly. In 5 easy payments,
right.
Like you say. The House has passed its defense bill and scrapping the COVID vaccine mandate, and they're giving more money to the military than Joe Biden's administration asked for. But they also want to go along with a lot of the military people who are in the military still don't want to do the vaccines, and so they are scrapping that for them, not requiring them to have the COVID vaccines. And take a look at that story, as well as our Coy Malone, the birthday girl, has a social justice story. And this is really needed because a lot of people don't understand. Katrina Kraft is in our newsletter today talking about inflation, what it is and what causes it and whom it hurts the most. Hello, I would think so. All right, let's move to the what's really going on section. And Khameron, you have a colleague of yours. Will you do the honors?
Yeah, of course. I am very proud to share with you all today the amazing, magnificent, just a wonderkind that is April Campbell. April has been a member of the North Lawndale community for over 25 years. That is the historic North Lawndale on Chicago's west side, where Martin Luther King lived, organized, and protested for fair housing. She has a passion for civic engagement, community leadership, and administration. April is a graduate of North Lawndale. I know you went to North Lawndale College Prep. She is a graduate of North Lawndale College Preparatory Charter High School, University of Wisconsin-Madison, and you're a Posse Scholar, and an ex facto redistricting commissioner, and most recently served with the District 7 governmental office in a managerial position that reported directly to State Senator Mike Simmons. April, how are you this evening? And welcome to It's Sybil.
Welcome, April. It's I'm afraid we have no more time after Khameron gave that introduction. So nice having you here. And
keep up the good work.
Okay, yeah, we're really impressed. So Khameron, it's on you.
Yeah, April, can you just tell us a little bit about what it is that you do?
Yeah, so right now I am having the most glorious pleasure of working in my neighborhood, Lawndale. I work for this not-for-profit called the North Lawndale Community Coordinating Council as their engagement coordinator. So I'm doing a lot of community organizing, engagement, and just really trying to understand what neighbors and other folks who are informally involved in the community economy want from agencies that take up a lot of space, time, and energy on the South and West Side. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of it by like understanding it and yeah, having a seat at the table. So showing up.
And what table are you seeking a chair, or bringing your own chair? What table are you seeking attendance?
I would say the table is probably going to be like my community. Like, I feel like in the most vague way that I can put it. I live here and my family's been here for a while. Like, I'm third generation in this neighborhood, and I feel very heavily invested to the success of people who look like me, other Black women, Black men, just very invested in ensuring that those that are around me can also do well. And people who don't feel like they're doing well, I like to uplift them and get them to a place where they feel comfortable. And if there are people around me who are, doing their best, I'm sure there's a way they can do better. So just always leaving room for people to operate on a productivity level that they feel comfortable with and that's sufficient for them.
Nice.
April, I want you to speak to that moment where you decided, you know what, I am going to take ownership of my neighborhood. I'm going to make a change for the better. And I want to make sure that everybody in my neighborhood gets to benefit, flourish, and thrive.
It would have I feel like it dawned on me like once my brother started having children. I feel like it's so funny, the comment that you all made about the children who like come here that are immigrants, etc. A lot of people don't know this, but like I'm a child of an immigrant. My dad is an immigrant, and he came here from Rwanda in East Africa. And he met my mom when he was like fresh off the boat, or fresh off the plane, because he was a jet setter. He just came here from Belgium, and he speaks like 5 languages and all these things. Whatever. Met my mom, but that's kind of true. It's like you have to ingrain into like that next generation. grit, that tenacity, the ability to like bend but not break. That's something you constantly have to kind of like remind yourself. And I see that. That's something that I've observed with other people that I meet here in like Black coalition, Black alignment, melanated alignment is kind of like what I like to refer to it as. And hold folks accountable. So I feel like when my brother started having children, my accountability was there in my face. It was like, he has Black sons. Like, these are like, someone's going to criminalize my little nephews. They're going to assume this, and just different. I think it was kind of a boiling point. I've always been a firm advocate for Black men. I grew up with lots of brothers and cousins. So I was keen and used to speaking up, defending, finessing is also a word a lot of people use. So yeah, when he started having children, I was like, I have to understand how this works, how life works. I need to be an asset to my nephews. And then from there, I just was like, I need to elaborate. It's more than just like about family, like my tribe. Like, how could I help other people, anybody who actually would want help, because I can't actually, tell you that I'm literally out here being an adversary or anything. But if you want help, if you come to me and you want help, I'll ensure that you get what you need.
It's very interesting. If I can jump in, my son had a conversation last night on a platform. Damon A. Williams is his name, and he's with Let Us Breathe Collective here in Chicago. And he speaks in the same vernacular and same tone that you have. And so he made me aware of something, because someone asked him, how do you describe an ancestor? We are now going to be someone's ancestor. So what we do now is very important, and it reverberates throughout the generation. So it's fantastic to have someone like yourself and like-minded people like yourself in the community doing what you do. Secondly, your mama must be fine. The man been all over the world, but
left Belgium for Chicago.
Right, but couldn't leave the Windy City. Mama had it going on.
I had 2 kids with my mom. I have a brother that's 1 year younger than me. Yeah.
Jet settled down in Lawndale.
Okay.
Mama is the bomb.
I'm just going to rest here. I am going to leave Africa and Rwanda, and I am going to find my princess here.
I renounce my throne.
and my daughter will grow up to be a leader in the community. And
it's almost like destined, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Was there someone that you grew up that was a role model for you in this? Was it your mom, your dad, or were there people in your neighborhood who kind of guided you along and showed you the ropes of how things are done in your community?
Oh, of course. I've been super blessed to have a very supportive safety net of people outside of just family. So I've always had neighbors that were very heavily invested in like our safety, being educated upon like our culture, like archiving that, encouraging us to be creative, whether it was like exploring an interest in like nature by like offering gardening as as something as like recreational, or going to a conservatory. Very, very much so that has been a heavy footprint upon, I think, my current interests and hobbies and other agencies. My grandparents, they are wonderful people, and they have taught me pretty much everything. They've given me like the skeleton to everything that I know. And it's just so ironic because they did not have a lot of education, but they still are like so brilliant.
Right.
I mean, it's not like they're just because you have education, you are brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about school smarts, book smarts, and street smarts, and it makes a big difference when you have both. But certainly, those of us that were raised by people with street smarts who had just common sense and knowing how to, as you say, finesse the system, or to get through, and make things happen in your community. That's what it's all about.
It takes a large amount of wisdom to navigate through this system if you are less equipped from an educational standpoint.
Yeah.
So that's the word we're looking for, is just that good old down home wisdom.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. That's absolutely it. I'm curious. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do when you grow up?
Yeah, so as of in this past year, I've been like, I was not honest with myself, I think, prior around like what my goals were. But I think now, because of the footprint that social enterprises have begun to make, I feel more comfortable to admit that I am very interested in participating in capitalism, but I'm not going to participate in the way that they export in the form of media, theater, etc., to other countries. I would like to participate in it in an equitable fashion, so that I can endure and uplift any other black or brown or black, brown, tan, black people in America, so that they can too participate and create generational wealth. So
what does that mean? What does that look like?
Yeah, so that looks like actively advancing myself through whatever avenues I feel like I'm an expert in, and acquiring wealth and compensation in that way, and branching out and working with other creative people that look like me, that share the same morals and ethos as me. Yeah, pretty much uplifting my tribe of people is what I would say. Collaborating, leveraging capital, leveraging assets that I have acquired, my own. I have some real estate, and I'm also really knowledgeable of other areas through participating in those industries in full-time employment. So just leveraging knowledge and capital, so that
and running,
people can
because
create wealth.
there's an election coming up, and they got they got room for you, because
I don't know about that.
No. I'm telling you, they got room for you, because they need youth, they need energy, and they need vision. And it doesn't seem to be something that is in great numbers amongst, 11, 13 people that are running for mayor right now.
Oh
yeah. Well, it's tricky, Sybil, and that same question you just asked her, that's the way I look when someone asks me what my son does for a living. I can't nail it down to one particular thing, because we would be like, yeah, but what you gonna do for a check?
Right.
But it's like she said, I'm leveraging and I'm doing different things, and so that's the mode that this generation is in. They're not going to be in a brick and mortar situation. They're not going to be in a cookie cutter occupation. And they do it with purpose and heart. So I applaud you, young lady. I hear your passion, and you'll find your niche. You'll narrow that down to something that is really extremely your passion, and you'll be great at it.
I agree. I just want Chicago to have good leadership, and I think that you demonstrate that. You know what I mean? So, and you went to Wisconsin. Okay, we won't hold that against you. But you came back home and want to make a difference at home, and that goes a long way with a lot of folks. So, I admire you for doing that. And how can people get in touch with you?
I'm mostly just on Instagram and Facebook. So my handles on Instagram and Facebook are both April Crystal. So no spaces altogether, just April Crystal. And yeah, that's mostly how I feel like I'm engaging at the moment. It's just important to me, I think, to just really be authentic. And at this moment, I'm only able to manage Instagram and Facebook in an authentic way. So
that's cool.
I'm looking forward to more opportunities to engage with people like this. I feel like this is an amazingly beautiful way to engage with people, and I love media, and this is very creative. So I thank you all for having me.
Well, I thank you, and I thank Khameron for bringing us and introducing us to the future. We have that with Khameron. We have it with his sister, as well as other young contributors. So, Khameron, I'm going to leave this for you to take us out of this section.
Oh, well, thank you, April. Before you go, can you just briefly explain to folks in the chat, to us? Can you explain how community power equals or surpasses political power?
Yeah, so this is the way I like to think about it. Community power is like the grassroots of like all power that you can scrounge up, you know, like it's literally like that saying, they say like a faith of a mustard seed. Like if you can get 2, 3, 5, 10 people to agree with you, and if you all can like organize or just identify skills amongst the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 30, the 500, the 50,000, you know, what folks are good at, and allow them to be good at that, and uplift other people who may be trying to develop skills that they're a little more weaker in, and allow there to be a natural formation of like those who delegate and those who implement and those who execute, then you can out organize these individuals who, you know, are there to really listen to your voice. But the proof is in the pudding. You deal with the numbers, similar to how they present data to us, on the basis of, you know, spending, if they're, you know, if they want to discuss the budget. But I really wholeheartedly feel that if you can organize your own individual collective power, or like work across coalitions, you know, maybe it's like a few different groups that all have different interests, but maybe there's, you know, one common issue or industry or problem that they all want to solve. You know, you only need a few representatives that are able to say, well, we speak for him, who speaks for him, who speaks for him, who speaks for her.
Right. Well, you speak beautifully and passionately and powerfully. And I thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Khameron, for introducing us to this fine young lady. And please come back. And I don't want to put you in that whole political bug, but I really am concerned about the future of my hometown. So, I love your energy, and I love your passion and your direction. So thank you so much. Please come back again and visit with us.
Thank you. Thanks
you
so
much.
I'll text you.
Nice to talk to you.
Yes.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah. See, I mean, I felt like I was listening to one of the meetings that they have. She's right there in that pocket. And I once said to my son, I said, you know, when it's all said and done with the name recognition and works you've put in, you have a future in politics. And he was like, raw.
Right.
And I was like, but you know, you can affect change from outside, and then you harness that power and work within the system. So down the line, I see him.
That's exactly it. I'm sorry. Yep. So down the line, you see him.
I see him maybe stepping up to the plate with that. I told him at least do it for the pension. You mean,
yes,
you
that's what I'm saying, Damon. Just do it for the pension.
Yeah, you got to, you know what I'm saying? You can affect change, but you know, you got to get your spoils at the end. So definitely people like her, and it's just so refreshing to know that our future is in good hands, that those people exist.
Absolutely.
Especially where our youth is portrayed, you know, you don't get to hear those type of voices and know that mindset exists among young people. So thank you once again, Khameron, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the future, we're in good hands with young people like Khameron and April, but I also, you know, they take me back to the days of watching the SCLC and Operation Breadbasket and those organizations. And then, you know, 20 years later, Jesse Jackson's running for president to make a stand to put the issues out there, whether you agree with him or not politically. Right. Jesse Jackson was the man who put Black people out front, with a Black woman running his campaign, with a Black man running for president, a Black woman running his campaign, and an incredible staff of young Black people straight out of school. You know, some even left school in order to work on his campaign. And I think that, like, speak out.
Well, I think that like April and like Damon's perspective is that like while there are people on Capitol Hill fighting and bickering over, you know, pennies, April and Damon's perspective is, you know what, while you all are fighting over that, you all can have that. I want to get to know my neighbor, tell them that I love them.
And that's really cool. That gets to the heart of the matter there, Khameron. Yeah.
Grassroots is where it happens. And for her to even mention gardening, you know, it's getting back to the essence of who we are as people before you jump into the as she says, participates in capitalism, because they see that as a bad word, but you know, they still have some aspirations for that. And you know, it's important to have resources. So that was very refreshing.
And when you say you just want to get to know your neighbors, I don't know my neighbors on my block here, but I do know I can still tell you who lived next to the Doziers and the Greens and the Harrells and and the Princes and the Schoolarks and the Greens and up and down my block where I grew up, and that's necessary.
Yeah.
And I think that a coalition of that local grassroots as well as someone on the federal level. I was talking about the young man who is the first generation Z to represent in the United States Congress, Max Frost, and the challenges that he is having because of his credit score. He can't get an apartment. He's making $174,000 as a United States congressman, but his credit score plummeted because of the way that he needed to use his credit cards in order to finance his campaign. We've got to support people. We've got to support in our neighborhoods and things like that in our communities for young people who are making a difference. We really do. Absolutely. All right, guys, let's talk about what's trending. As I mentioned, a stormy situation in the center of the country, Oklahoma and Dallas-Fort Worth. Tornado watches and warnings all through the area, a lot of rain and a considerable amount of destruction. And this storm system, and we were flying around it today to get back to Dallas-Fort Worth. But this weather, looking at the rain that we had in New York over the weekend, turning into snow. I said, they are very lucky this is not snow. And sure enough, that was on the news last night, that all of this rain that has gone through the Midwest, it's going to turn into snow. And it's going to be several feet of snow, they're predicting, along the East Coast over the next several days. So it's here. And it's December, and I don't know when else you're expecting it, but it is here, and there's nothing uglier than New York in the snow. But it was difficult enough just getting through the rain and driving. Oh my God.
Well, at least the snow will cover up the trash in New York.
Yeah, that's true, and maybe stop the rats in their tracks. But there are about 14 million people, largely in the north central U.S., were under winter weather warnings or advisories today and into tomorrow, with blowing snow and power outages as a key concern. That is a key concern, being without power. So that is, it's a dangerous situation, but so please be careful. Several people were injured in the Dallas-Fort Worth area as blizzard conditions mount for the northern plains. They say 21 million people from Texas to Mississippi under threat of severe storms, including tornadoes. 14 million people, largely in the north central, under these winter warnings. And that's no joke. And especially as, as people are trying to get through the holidays or get home or whatever, weather is not the headache that you need. It's expensive enough trying to live and to do whatever you do for the holidays and for your family, but then you have the other expenses of damages that are done to your home. That's serious business. The president went ahead and did it. He signed the Respect for Marriage Act into law it was a party out there in front of the White House. I don't know if you guys saw it today, but this definitely is kind of putting this issue out before the United States Supreme Court, because if you remember when the Dodd decision came down, removing abortion from the country, the Justice Clarence Thomas said, and the next thing we're going to do is get rid of gay marriage. And it's like, dude, the bill, the ability to for people to marry also includes what you're a part of, and that's interracial marriages. And so maybe you're trying to get out of it with the.
Hey, have you seen his wife? Maybe maybe he's like, I am sick of rolling over next to this. Let's strike this whole bill and make this illegal.
Sorry.
I know it's going to affect millions of people, but let me out of this.
Okay. What are we going to do? Fight the law? Yeah.
My wife looks like Barney Rubble. I need to get out of this.
Damon, you are killing me today. You are killing me.
Have you seen his wife?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, she looks like Barney Rubble.
She looks like the love child. I thought of this, and I was thinking about who she does look like. It's the love child of Barney Rubble and Julia Child. And
Wow.
this is what
Yes,
she reminds
exactly.
me of. Yeah. It ain't pretty, folks. It really ain't. And he's no prince himself, but you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is great news. It was announced today that the United States Postal Service, you remember them, the post office folks, those of us who still go to the post office, they're going to have a postage stamp next year dedicated in the honor of Congressman John Lewis. I'm very, very excited about
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. We still want to give folks a Brittany Griner update. You may have seen her take hold of the basketball the other day while she's still in San Antonio, and she definitely dunked the ball. That was her first move, and she's eating well. She is. Her folks have brought barbecue there to San Antonio. She also got to drink her favorite beverage. Do you know what that is, Khameron?
I don't know.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh, wow. Oh, a woman of acquired taste. Okay.
They got her. They said before she even got off the plane, they gave her a Dr. Pepper, and so they're still giving her that. Her agent describes her as upbeat, thankful, and hopeful, referring to returning to the States from what U.S. officials deemed wrongful detention in Russia. And she said that the first time she took the basketball was the first time since she left this country. She said they gave her the opportunity to play basketball in Russia. And she's like, no, thank you.
Right. Nice try.
Right. Exactly. Because what good is that? Is that they're going to take pictures and say, see, it's not so bad. She can still continue to do what she does so well. And she's a smart woman. And she said no. And now they are working on her physical health as well as her mental health. And so, you know, getting that good home cooked food, the barbecue, as well as the drinking Dr. Peppers that she wants. But they are also getting her body back in the event. They say in the event she wants to go back and play basketball.
And she deserves to take all the time she needs to just rest, recuperate, and be with her wife and her family.
Yeah.
She doesn't owe any of us anything, honestly. Yeah. We're just glad that she's here.
Absolutely. We were talking last night. What would you like to see her do? I just want to see her well and happy.
Same. Just chill. You good.
They're looking for a place to live. They still have their home in Phoenix. Of course, she was with the Phoenix Mercury. But they are looking for a safe place for them to live because there's still a lot of crazies out there. And I hope that the United States government provides protection for her, and so that she can continue to advance in whatever she wants to do, because the sky is the limit for her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Netflix has been blowing her up. Amazon's been blowing her up.
Yeah,
trying to get this audiobook deal.
And she's got a wife who's a lawyer.
Yeah, so go ahead and make that quick 10 mil, and then take a nice honeymoon. And
do what you need to do, right?
Yeah, and hopefully the wife will give her some peace, because she's been through a lot. Just let her kick her feet up and watch a little TV. Don't start with the honey-do list.
The honey-do list. Not the honey-do's,
can you reach this for me, baby? Can you dust this ceiling fan?
What were you doing for the last 10 months?
Right. Give her a little time to chill, wifey.
Right. And I'm sure they look like a really sweet couple. And so I do hope that they are finding some peace in their lives. She's been eating far more nutritious food and supplements compared to her time in detention. Her agent said her energy level is really high. She also got a haircut. She got a cleanup to the Russian fade that her family called it, as her braids froze every time she would take a shower, and they started to break off. And,
oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow.
So she cut them off while she was in captivity, and they said that she battled the flu a lot because the conditions were so poor, and so with the cold conditions and flu viruses and things out there, they're going to get her back and healthy.
Nice.
Just an incredible story. Just an incredible story. But so we'll keep giving you updates as we find them. This is cool, I guess. Some folks are not too happy about it, but the NBA's Most Valuable Player Award has been renamed to honor MJ. Michael Jordan. The NBA announced that it is rebranding several of its end of the year awards in addition to adding a new one to pay tribute to several Hall of Fame players of yesteryear. The league's Most Valuable Player trophy has been rechristened to be the Michael Jordan Most Valuable Player Award, named after, of course, the legendary 23. And he's not the man who won that award the most. He and Bill Russell currently tied as the second most all-time honorees with 5 wins apiece as Most Valuable Player. Most valuable wins for an individual player? Anybody? Bueller?
Most MVP wins?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not Steph.
Not yet.
Not LeBron.
Not yet. And I'm not holding out
Well,
hope for one.
we
of
know
those
who
this
is not
year.
and who is cussing about this whole thing, and that's Scottie Pippen.
Okay. So it's Kareem has 6.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Okay.
Yeah.
The original GOAT.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holds the current record of 6 MVP awards.
Mm.
And so
And scoring title.
yeah. And so why
Yeah.
isn't the MVP award named after him?
Mm.
I guess tomato. I don't know. Khameron, I need you to explain about the FTX guy, the guy with 3 names who's been hiding out with his parents in the Bahamas, who's now been arrested and charged with taking people's money in the crypto business that he had.
You know, a couple of my friends have been talking about that, and I've been bunkered in like playwright world, so I have not been
Got it.
like
Okay.
laughing at all of these like corporate scandals. But yeah, you know, you can only hide so long when you're messing with
Right.
people's money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Damon, I'm going to end this segment with entertainment, and this entertained me, and I thought you would be the only person I would bring this to. A Las Vegas woman found herself in a difficult situation with cops after she was charged with stealing an expensive watch, a Rolex, no less. And police were called to the Aria Hotel in Vegas, and according to the news stations, after a man claimed that he was cuddling this 33-year-old woman, she continually insisted that he take his Rolex off while they laid down together. The alleged victim told cops he put the watch under his pillow and continued to drink wine at her request, but says he noticed it missing. She went into a panic and left. He says he followed her all the way down to the lobby where he alerted security before police arrived. According to the reports, police could not find the Rolex at first, but they eventually discovered it.
Where?
In her female parts. In her genitals. Yes.
The old Rolly and the Holy, huh?
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be here all week.
Wow.
Wow. And
Yeah.
he still wanted it back?
Yeah, I don't know how much that meant to him or how much it was worth, but
Yeah.
hopefully the Rolly got a steam bath or something.
I don't know what
Man, but see, that's the oldest trick in the book, you know.
Yeah.
The old sunshine. No,
Yeah.
baby, just lay down, relax, take off your watch. Yeah, that's these people
And
got to
drink
go. I
some
mean,
more of this wine and knock you
yeah.
out.
She probably called him daddy a few times, you know. That's how to get it. She pulled a Cardi B. Cardi used to do that for a living. She used to trick guys and get them to hotels and drug them and take their valuables.
Right.
She was known for that scam. But anytime a woman is too nice to you, and chances are this probably was some old out of shape businessman who thought she liked him.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I when I saw this, I was like, oh God, this is Damon written all over it.
Oh
For
yeah, that's seriously
commentary.
ignorant news.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Seriously. And how do I follow this? By lifting up your spirits, but with a jewel, an inspiration, if you will.
Yeah.
Today's Yogi's Jewel is the best time to relax your mind. Always. Whenever you have the opportunity to relax your mind, take it and do it. So
nice tie-in with the watch and time.
Tick
The
tock,
best
tick
time.
tock. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But rollies don't tick.
But she's learned that the hard way, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, you guys, thanks so much for starting the show and for contributing your brilliance as always, and for introducing us to a new friend there, Khameron. I appreciate that, and just a really good show. So thanks, everybody. We appreciate you, and have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you all again soon. Aloha.